Hi, welcome to my porch. I'm Anita, and I am an author of mostly children's books, and I'm also an editor for Another Chance Global Media. I want to share with you today one of our urban writers. He's one of my favorite urban writers, Carl Parker. And he wrote a book this isn't really an urban book, this is an autobiography fiction, because it's 90% true. He changed some names and things, and when you change some things in the story, then it's considered fiction, not autobiography. But anyhow, this is his story, and I'm going to read you the beginning of the story. It's an emotional narrative of a father trying to do the right thing. Now, Carl was in prison. He spent 22 years in the prison, and he is currently out of prison, and he's in at a home. He's in halfway house until he can be in the community permanently. He's mostly in the community, but now he will be out in February completely. This is from the prologue. And the name of this book is Dad by Carl A. Parker. I watched as my father and his older brother fought one another as if they were bitter enemies. We were at the annual 4th of July barbecue, which was an event that our family held each year. This year it was at my Uncle Sterling's house, and we were all in the backyard. I never knew why they were fighting, but it was clear to me, even at 9 years old, that it was more than serious. The grown-ups did finally manage to break it up, but it wasn't over. About 35 minutes later, I remember looking up to see my father's truck pulling up and parking in front of the house. My father and two of his friends got out of the truck and came directly to the backyard. I never saw the gun in my father's hand until he fired the first shot, and my Uncle Sterling stumbled and fell to the ground. Uncle Sterling was a very big man, as he weighed in the neighborhood of 300 pounds. As he lay on the ground, he pleaded with my father not to shoot him again, but his plea fell on deaf ears. The music that had been playing had stopped, and the only sounds besides the shots being fired that could now be heard were my uncle's pleas and the screams of my grandmother as she tried to stop my father from killing his brother. This event was unfolding right in front of a stunned crowd of family members, totaling close to 70 people, children included. After firing the third shot, my father began cursing at my Uncle Sterling, saying stuff like, you still want to wrestle? My grandmother continued to scream at my father, begging him to stop and leave my uncle alone. I remember my Uncle Sterling just lying there holding his stomach, but no longer saying anything at all. It was at this point that the adults ran all of us children inside the house. I never really understood what happened from there. 2 days later, my Uncle Sterling died, and it was almost 3 years after that before I saw my father again. This is how the story started. Now from there, that's the introduction, the prologue. From there, Carl goes on to tell about him going himself to prison someday, and then his fight for custody of his daughter. Excuse me, I'm on my porch and there's cars that go by, and it's amazing how fellas in Tennessee love to have loud cars and trucks. But anyhow, this is my place, and I really recommend this book highly because it has such a good meaning to it. It shows talks about a father's love and how he fights for his daughter. Thank you for listening.